Hi everyone, it's Heather with Creating with Loving Grace. Today we are going to be doing a thrift shop find using a copper Bundt pan that I got. Love the copper, but I really wanted it to be toned down and not so shiny. So I went ahead and I used the Waverly Pumpkin. It's a chalk paint. I love it. Chalk paints are one of the best ones to stick to pretty much anything. But I still will. You'll see me seal it as well. So I went ahead and I did 2 coats on this pan. Oh, that's gonna be a tough one. On this Bundt pan, and I did dry it in between coats. And then I went ahead and I knew that it needed a stem, so I went ahead and rolled up some burlap. And I did, you can see I cut off a portion of it because it was just too tall. So I kind of extended it out, bent it over a little bit to make it look like a stem. Then I hot glued it in. And then I applied into the entire Bundt pan coat of the Mod Podge to give it a good seal, because we know that even though chalk paint's wonderful and it does a good job of adhering to anything, because it's metal, it will chip without that sealant. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some Spanish moss. I'm going to go ahead and put the antique wax on first. And I went and gave the entire Bundt pan a layer. And then I wiped it off and took off, just left it in the crevices. I really wanted it to give it that old rustic feeling that I love. There's your Spanish moss that I'm putting on, gluing down. And then I will also go ahead and put some dried up sweet Annie in. Now you'll see me trim it down too, because I wanted it to be noticeable, but I didn't want it to be dominating. So I do trim it down. And even though from the top it does kind of look a little bit weird, when you see it from the side, it does look quite nice on it. Okay, and then I decided that I didn't want a big messy bow on this one. I just went ahead using some raffia and some green and tan check fabric. I went ahead and created 2 separate bows. The first one with the raffia, and I just did some basic shoelace kind of bows. So I did it with the raffia. We glued it down, and then did the same thing with the green and brown check fabric. I hot glued them down, and then once they were down, I went ahead and I trimmed it up because it was nice and long. And with bows, I always like to make them too long. And then once you get them in place, it's easy to give it a haircut, trim it up. And that's not just for the shoelace bows. It's pretty much true for any of the bows. You're always better making them too long or too large or too poofy, and you can always trim it up. Now, if you make it too short or you make it not poofy enough with the messy bows, you can add them in too, and you probably have seen me do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and once I know that I have it the way that I like it, I will trim it. But you'll also see I am going to go ahead and add a rusty star to it. I just thought that it needed a little something extra in there, and I do tend to like to put something in the middle of the bows, and in this case I did a rusty star. I did purchase those stars in a star bell kit from Amazon. They came rusty like that. Sometimes you'll see me making them rusty using cinnamon, or sometimes I'll do them with a vinegar peroxide solution. I've done those as well. So there it is, all finished. You can see all that wonderful wax and how it went down into the crevices, and you'll get a close-up in just a minute. Now I do have this on the counter in my craft room. It looks really cute, just propped up on top of a wooden crate that I have. I hope you like it. If you do, please give me a like, a follow, a share. I appreciate it.